All right, what's up, y'all? Um, I've got more viewers now, so I'm gonna probably make more videos about concepts I've already made because now maybe actually some people will watch them and I can get some feedback on them. So on this one, what I want to talk about is like breath control. Try to get where y'all can see me a little better. Uh, so like imagine if you train and if you're new around here, I've been training for 5 or 6 years, and I've been coaching for about a year now. And it's mainly in MMA. I really, really love striking, so I do boxing, kickboxing, and Muay Thai as well. But I know a little jujitsu and stuff. But if you were to go do any of these sports for the first time, and you get thrown into a round of sparring or rolling, pretty likely, unless you have a really, really good coach or someone like me that kind of relates to someone new, um, you're probably going to get exhausted. A better example would be like if I put you in front of a heavy bag for about a minute and was like, punch this heavy bag as much as you want, you're going to, and in a minute, you're going to be like, if that makes sense. All right, so that's kind of what I'm talking about with breath control. Um, there's ways to counteract that. Like a boxer had taught me early on to make noise whenever I was striking, and my body would naturally breathe in, and the making noise would force me to exhale instead of holding your breath. So that's a good tidbit. But I like to think a little outside of the box. So follow me on this story time and everything. Um, so let me ask you first, what do you think the world record is for someone holding their breath? And if you were to ask me before I got into all this and studying this idea, I don't know, I'd say 4 or 5 minutes. Like, I think back in fourth grade when I could hold my breath, or me and my friends, I don't know, we just got in this phase where we were trying to see who could hold our breath the longest. And it was like, there was kind of a line. It was like either people could do it over a minute or they couldn't. And that kind of separated the people that were good at it and wasn't. So I imagine with a little practice and everything else, there's 4 or 5 minutes. I also have one extra thing. My mom was real big into watching like old classic movies, so I had actually seen the creature, the Blue Lagoon, in black and white. And by the time I'd seen it on AMC, they had these little pop-ups of information as the movie was playing, and it was saying that the creature himself was played by an Olympic swimmer. I don't recall his name, but it was like he had to stay underwater while they were shooting this with no air assistance for like 6 minutes at a time. Now, that comes into factor now because to hold your breath for so long is a challenge, but to hold your breath while doing a physical activity such as fighting is what we're actually talking about. Now, to get back to my original question of you, I was asking what you would think the world record is, and it's like 24 minutes of someone holding their breath. And I believe he did that on a deep dive, which is like he dropped straight down under the water. I could be wrong. If it's not 24, it's like 22. But before that, it was David Blaine for 18 minutes. He did it in Times Square, and you can still watch it like on YouTube and ABC. In venturing into all of this, I should have looked up the title, but on YouTube you can find videos of these people, and it's another world record, but it's a distance record for their craft. And he gets in the ocean, and he's under what I would say is about 2 to 3 feet of water. I could be wrong. Maybe it's 4 or 5, but it's clear water. You can see him, and he's completely submerged, and he's doing like a frog stroke under the water. It's slowed down. Like his stroke is very precise and very thorough. It's not like firing, but he does this for like 15 minutes, and he sets a record for the distance under like the longest breath doing whatever they called this swimming technique. And so I go and swim, and I've added that in to my training since getting into MMA because I saw Dominic Cruz doing a lot of stuff underwater, and I was like, man, that's interesting. Swimming is so much harder for me than MMA. Like, you have to fire all these muscles perfectly and everything, and I still haven't got it right. Like, I'm still not good at swimming with my head underwater. I can swim with my head up pretty well, but it's very, very tiring. So when I see these people doing actual physical acts and holding their breath, it makes me think that a fighter could hold their breath for a whole entire round and not be tired if we had the right control of our oxygen and everything. I know that's crazy. I know it sounds crazy. I want to keep this video short. That way, hopefully I can get some responses. But when you hear that idea and you hear those connections I've made, feel free to look them up to verify that what I'm saying isn't just some BS. I'm honestly telling the truth. Let me know your thoughts on it. I'd love to get some conversations going with these concepts I have. But that's Concepts with Kimbler. In general, I think a fighter could be able, not saying one is right now, but in theory, we could absolutely be able to fight a solid fight for 3 or 5 minute round without breathing. What do you guys think?